This is an INFJ, and this is another INFJ. This is an INFP, and this is another INFP. And this is quite possibly an ISFJ. Do you see the difference? If you don't, no need to worry, because in this video we will try to understand how the INFJ is different from the INFP or from the ISFJ for that matter. Have you ever been mistyped or got different results in the MBTI test? If you did, let me know in the comments. Also make sure to subscribe for more fun stuff in the future, and don't forget to click the like button. I would really appreciate that. Especially for INFJs, there is a lot of confusion about their type. Are they really an INFJ, or could they possibly be an INFP? Or maybe ISFJ? Well, in this video I attempt to bring some light into typing and mistyping. Here's a little exercise. Tell me what you see in this painting. What did you notice about it? You can pause this video and comment below. I will get back to this painting at the end of this video. Just as a side note, the INFJ is actually statistically super rare, so it's not very likely that all those hundreds and thousands of INFJs out there on Reddit are actually INFJ. The INFJ type is being portrayed as a wizard on the 16 Personalities website, and I think it's a pretty good representation, at least when it comes to their intuition and feeling functions. Carl Jung himself refers to types whose first function is introverted intuition as the mystical dreamer and seer, and I think that the mystical side is a very important distinction. The INFJ doesn't necessarily have to believe in things like astrology, but generally there might be a tendency to magical thinking. But now let's get back to the first question. Are you an INFJ or an INFP? Just like the INFJ, the INFP might also be a dreamer, but their dreams are coming from their introverted feeling and extroverted intuition. So while the INFJ is more of a metaphysical dreamer, the INFP's dreams are in many cases of a personal and subjective nature. Both can be weird though. If you're not sure if you're an INFJ or an INFP, here are clues to look out for. I'm gonna simplify it as much as possible here. The INFP is generally more spontaneous than the INFJ, while the INFJ will prefer to stick to a plan. This can go as far as choosing what's for dinner, but it doesn't have to. For some INFJs, it might be the duration of a walk, for example. The INFJ generally doesn't like their plans to be interrupted by something unexpected. The INFP, on the other hand, is much more likely to improvise. The INFP will have strong opinions compared to the INFJ, who sometimes struggles with having an opinion at all. The INFJ generates profound insights, but it doesn't mean that they will evaluate these insights and form an opinion out of them. For the INFP, everything basically starts with an opinion due to their very first function, introverted feeling. This also means that the INFP might want to go against the grain once in a while if it happens to align with their values, which means that the INFP has much more rebel potential than the INFJ. So if you're not sure if you're an INFJ or an INFP, try to look within yourself and identify whether you're using extroverted feeling or introverted feeling. Let's compare two specific examples. On the left we have Terence McKenna, who was a mystic ethnologist, and on the right we have an INFP example, John Lennon. He might actually also be ENFP, but because of the same cognitive functions, this example is good enough to compare these two contrasting types. Terence McKenna is more of a shaman. This is clearly visible in most of his quotes, because he tends to speak about what is beyond life and all being. John Lennon, on the other hand, is way more personal. Even though he believes in magical things, he is much more grounded in his own subjectivity. I think these two people very much exemplify the difference between INFJ and INFP. Now to the next question. Could you actually be an ISFJ? In order to understand the difference, we should look at sensing and intuition. I'm using two more examples, which are Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. Now, Jeff Bezos is not an ISFJ. This comparison only illustrates the difference between sensing and intuition. And again, the statements of these two people couldn't be more different. While Jeff Bezos is more concerned with charging money, Elon Musk speaks in more broad and abstract terms. I have researched more quotes by these two, and they all roughly follow the same path. Jeff Bezos will always say something along the lines of enhancing his business via very tangible means, and Elon Musk mostly communicates a vague vision of the future as well as transcending of limits. That's what intuition does. It loves the big picture and is trying to break through walls. Take a look at how you speak and what you like to talk about. If you hate small talk and get weirdly metaphysical sometimes, you might be an INFJ. If hardly anyone ever thought that you're weird or you don't think you're weird, we need to continue the investigation. The ISFJ's first cognitive function is introverted sensing. This is fundamentally different from introverted intuition. Introverted sensing is concerned with the past, among other things. It likes structure and tradition, and when looking at a painting, it will generally point out the factual details of it, like how many trees there are and the color of the dresses. If you compare that to introverted intuition, the INFJ's main function, it will look at a painting and focus on whatever dynamics is going on there. The INFJ's description of a painting will be much broader. So, to get back to the painting exercise, this is why I asked you to tell me what you see in the painting. You can still let me know in the comments. And finally, let's look at another INFJ. This is a musician who goes by the name Sufjan Stevens. He's very talented, by the way. I've recently watched a few interviews with that guy and noticed that he's spacing out much of the time. It's like his focus is directed at something in the middle of the room. It almost seems like his gaze stops in front of an invisible wall. I think these are very much INFJ vibes here. Sometimes cats do this too when they stare into space, although it's probably because they heard a distant noise. Here's a quote by Terence McKenna, again a very INFJ thing to say. Thanks for watching, let me know what you think, and I hope to see you in one of my next videos. Until then, have a beautiful day, take care, and bye bye.